Hey family, it's Tracy. Hi. It's been a while, but I am back now. I've kind of been busy and I apologize because I haven't made any new blogs for future generations, but I'll try to do better in the future. Um, so today I wanted to talk about just about pursuing your goals and picking a path in life that you want to follow. Um, and so, what made me start thinking about this in particular was the fact that, or is the fact that my son, my middle son or child, Justin, is 17 and he's going into senior year of high school. And I see that he's struggling a little bit with the direction he wants to go and not knowing what he wants to do in his future. And I think that scares him a little bit, though he won't say too much about it. Um, and I just think back to when I was young and how I felt. And I had a lot of the same fears with, the future. And unfortunately, my mom never really talked to me about those types of things. So when I went out into the world, it was a very nerve-wracking time, and a lot of hard life lessons that I had to learn. So, um, what I'd like to say to the future generations today is that I really hope that you talk to your children about their future and about what they want out of life and what they want to do in life and how to go about making choices and things like that. But also let them know that, at 17, 18, 19 years old, um, it's okay if they don't know what they want to do with the rest of their life. That's not an uncommon thing. Um, that even so, they still have to pick a path. And it's okay if they start on a path and they realize that's not the one they want to stay on. They can always change that. But don't let the fear of the future and the fear of facing the world and being out on your own stifle you and keep you from taking that step or making the choices you need to make. Um, I think as parents, sometimes, as much as we want to keep our kids, from being hurt by the things that happen in the world, and as much as we may love keeping them close to us, sometimes you have to push them out the door and push them out on their own 2 feet. I'm a staunch believer in that at a young age. Teenagers need to be on their own and experience life and have those ups and downs and learn early on what they have to do to be independent and be successful. I think when we as parents are there too much for them, to stop them from having to deal with those type of things, we do them a disservice because they never really learn how to stand on their own 2 feet. um, So, that's the one thing I wanted to say. Another thing I wanted to say is that, is in particular, is that as when you're young, you have to learn. It's not enough to be talented. You also have to learn your craft. And what I mean by learn your craft is not just rely on whatever, whether it's singing, dancing, creating, building, whatever your talent is, you have to learn the business side of that too. So, so you have a solid foundation. I think a lot of people get discouraged because they are so talented and they just assume the fact that they're talented and people are telling them how great they are at something, that means success is going to be imminent, and that they don't really have to work or they don't really have to understand the background of that environment, or the underlying things that go on in that environment. Um, so what I want to say is that you just can't rely on your talent. Like I said, there's so many talented people out there. There are people who are more talented than a lot of people who are in the NBA or in football or hockey or soccer or, whether it's singing or acting. There's so many people who are extremely talented, who don't become as big of a success as some of the people that you may have heard of. And I think one of the components of that is the fact that maybe they don't necessarily have a good grasp of the business side of things. So I stress that you learn those types of things. You learn the finance side, the boring side of things that maybe you don't really um, care too much about, but learn, about marketing and public relations and selling yourself, and whether it's a product or something that you're doing. Learn about all that stuff that comes along with it, so that you have a good foundation and you have um, an idea of how to get to where you want or need to be. So that's really what I wanted to say in this particular video. Oh, the one other thing I wanted to say um, is that as unfair as some people may think it is, a lot of times you are judged by your first impression. So that impression you leave when that person first comes across you or sees you and meets you. Um, so I want to stress the importance of leaving a good first impression. If, for instance, if you're going on a job interview and you're showing up and you have tattoos or piercings, or you're dressed in saggy pants and things like that, you can be as intelligent as someone in Mensa, but you may not necessarily leave the best impression, and that may cause people to dismiss you and pick someone who may be less talented, or who has a weaker work ethic than you because of that first impression. So as unfair as you may think it is, and I think when we're young, we tend to think about stress the fairness of things more so than anything else. You have to realize that when you're in the real world, it's not necessarily going to be fair, and people are not always going to make allowances for, you know, you and things like that. So you have to work hard to make sure that you're working toward what you want, and sometimes that takes just sucking things up that aren't fair and that you may not like. To get to where you need to go. And trust me, as you go through life, there are going to be plenty of things, in your personal life or in your career or work or what have you, that you are not going to want to do, you're not going to like, that you consider unfair, that people judge you unfairly or make a decision about you. And you can't quit and you can't give up if that's something you truly want to do. Um, because if you quit and give up at every time you face that, you will never get anywhere in this world. So that's another thing I just want to say. You're going to have to work through some of those things, and you're going to have to suck up some things to get um, achieve your goals. So really, it looks like it's coming up on almost 9 minutes. So I definitely want to wrap this up and thank the future generations and family for listening to my advice. Hopefully that helps someone who may be, um, willing to listen to it. And with that, family, I will say goodbye and peace. And, I wish you all the best. And I know that if you work hard, you will get to where you need to go. And if no one else believes in you, I believe in you wherever I'm at this moment. So thank you for listening again. And hopefully I will not be gone as long for my next video. So take care, family. Love you. Bye.